How's it going everyone? In today's Black Ops 2 weapon guide we're going to take a look at the Russian Brute, the AN-94. The AN-94 in Black Ops 2 is found in the assault rifle category, and with this one being a pretty good weapon that's not unlocked until level 55, it might be a weapon that you might want to use a permanent unlock token with, just so you can keep hold of this weapon throughout all your prestiges. The AN-94 kind of takes the place of the AK-47 from all the previous Call of Duty titles. Come to think of it, I think Black Ops 2 is the only Call of Duty where the AK-47 hasn't appeared, isn't it? But anyway, let's take a look at the AN-94, part of my little guide. So first up, let's take a look at some general features. The damage ratings are above average for the assault rifles, weighing in at 40, dropping off to 24. This equates to a 3 to 5 shot kill, with the headshot at long range dropping that long range requirement down to 4 shots to kill. This damage profile is very much similar to the MTAR that we looked at recently, with the exception that the AN-94 can reach out up to 30 meters with that 3 shot kill range, whereas the MTAR starts to drop off after just 10 meters. In practice, the recoil of the AN-94 is pretty manageable, but as you can see by the sample spread, it does start to kind of erratically stray off target under any prolonged fire. And while the iron sights of this weapon are pretty unique with that enclosed front pin, they are perfectly usable, so yeah, again, this is a weapon that you don't really need an optic with. So moving on to some more detailed stats for the AN-94. Its magazine weighs in at the usual 30 rounds for the assault rifles, and that can be extended up to 40 rounds with the extended clip attachment. The AN-94's fire rate is on par with the SCAR H at 625 rounds per minute, but you've got to remember that the AN-94 is another weapon that's got that cool little trait in Black Ops 2, where a number of shots fire out at a different fire rate, with the AN-94 firing out its first 2 shots at 937 rounds per minute. This doesn't really make that much difference in game, but it's a welcome feature when you come to burst fire your weapon, with it firing out those first 2 shots much faster, meaning you can achieve a much faster time to kill. The reload time for this weapon is 2.39 seconds. Then just to cover some general stats for the assault rifles, you get that moderate aiming speed of 0.25 seconds, as well as a slight movement penalty of 95%. So 2 weapons that the AN-94 is pretty similar to in Black Ops 2 are the MTAR and the SCAR. The MTAR's got the same damage figures of 40 dropping off to 24, but as we discussed, the AN-94 gets one up over the MTAR with having a much higher drop-offs for those 3 to 4 shot kill ranges. On the other hand, the MTAR has slightly less erratic recoil, as well as that 750 rounds per minute fire rate, which is going to keep you much safer in close range encounters. Then we've also got the SCAR, which has slightly higher damage figures and much longer range, plus that same 625 rounds per minute fire rate. As we discussed in my little review of the SCAR though, its main drawback is that quite pronounced recoil. So the AN-94 is kind of the best of both. It's like an alternative to the SCAR but without that high recoil, which is probably why it's a fan favourite with Black Ops 2 players. So let's finish off my guide to the AN-94 with a look at some attachments you might want to consider. Yeah, again, this is another weapon that you could really run any attachment you so desired, but if you're looking for some recommendations, then here's the ones I'd go with. First up, my first recommendation for almost any assault rifle is the quick draw handle. Assault rifles have that mix of quite high damage as well as decent fire rate, so the only thing that really lets you down is being able to open fire first. So that's where that quick draw handle comes into play, making sure you're the first one to get shots on target in those close range encounters. 30 rounds in a magazine is pretty good, but with a 2-second plus reload time it does make you pretty vulnerable when you do have to reload, so my next recommendation is the fast mags attachment. 30 rounds is usually more than enough for 2 to 3 bad guys, so at least with the fast mags you can quickly switch out those magazines and keep yourself on the offensive. Then one attachment I found worked pretty well with the AN-94 is the ACOG scope. With this weapon having that cool 900 plus rounds per minute fire rate of the first 2 rounds, it makes burst firing at long range particularly deadly. So that's where the ACOG scope comes in to make targeting those long range enemies much easier. But otherwise you can't really go wrong with the other attachments. We've got the likes of the suppressor, which is a good choice with this weapon having pretty good range to begin with. Then there's a range of other optics like the reflex sight or the EOTech sight or even the infamous target finder, so let me know your preferred configurations down in the comments. I'm a fair way through these Black Ops 2 weapon guides, so also let me know down in the comments which weapons you'd love to see me cover in the near future. And just in case you might have missed any of the previous episodes, don't forget to check out that link in the description for the full playlist. While you're in there, you'll see some links to Twitter and Facebook, as well as a link to subscribe if you haven't already. I haven't featured the AN-94 in any kind of class setup yet, so maybe I should do some kind of Russian themed loadout sometime soon. So stay tuned for that one. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.